Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 235. When we last left our heroes, the 8th pillar finally rose, and with it came this weird sun wheel-looking infernal. Um, also, all of the evacuees started spontaneously combusting all at once, which I'm pretty sure is new for the pillars. And then Honda tried to use, the Honda missile, and he just kind of popped off of the wheel and fell into the water. So that wasn't very good. So yeah, all that being said, let's jump right on into Chapter 235, The Savior. Our picture here is a bunch of black stars, labeled Black Stars, which is, of course, a Soul Eater reference. A star shining in the night sky heralds the end of the legend. That's a little ominous, I will say. And so we opened right where we left off, with Company 2 observing Honda's failure to destroy the Infernal. Honda missile down. I repeat, the Honda missile is down. Honda's attack was ineffective. What can they do now? Captain Honda! And then we just see the wheel sitting there, just floating. And Oguro asks, what, seriously? I can't believe Company 2's attack didn't work. And Kurono tells him, I guess it's hopeless. We're withdrawing then? And just leave a monster like that? Where would we go? And Kurono is actually serious here. I'm not joking. Honda's headbutt attack might look stupid, but it's the real deal. If that didn't work, well... and Oguro stops him. I didn't ask for your opinion. Do something. And he, gets his, ash knives ready. I just want this to go on record. It's weird that I get paid the same whether I'm toying with kids in the facility or fighting monsters. And Oguro just grins. Welcome to corporate life. And Kurono quips back. I'm thinking about changing careers. If the country's still standing tomorrow, have at it. And Kurono, whooshes off to fight the Infernal. And then we see the sunset, and Fairy is still atop the pillar. The sun descendeth, and with its passing the cataclysm shall soon begin. Change cometh for the laws of this world. And then we cut to a reporter. I'm standing off Tama Bay where the fire forces intercepted the Titanic Infernal. With the sun setting, it's looking like this will turn into a night battle. The moon is out too and seems to be smiling eerily on the scene. And of course, we see the cartoonish moon staring down at the battle. And Fairy, continues monologuing. Despair. Believe not this is a night of hope. Drive your collective unconscious toward the proper end. So, does that mean that all of this is just there to, ramp up the despair in the population? That Adola's, human consciousness equals death, is furthered by the dread that the public has in, believing that the 8 pillars lead somewhere? Maybe? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure I'm being coherent right now. But anyway, just then, there's a glistening light and a flash, and the cameraman points out, hold on, look up there. Zoom in. Shut up, I'm already doing it. And we see what looks like a man. Flaming mustache and goatee. Wait, that's Raffles? Wait, Raffles the Third? Or Raffles the First? Advent of the Great Pillar Titan. Raffles the First. Okay. I'm going to guess that's a doppelganger, though. Because we know that Raffles the First is actually Yona, right? Or at the very least, Raffles died... and then Yona took his place, which would imply that he still has a doppelganger in Adola. And that doppelganger could then be, what people think of as Raffles. The all-powerful founder of the church. But then what is the wheel? How does the wheel tie into that? I don't know. Anyway, Advent of the Great Pillar Titan. Raffles the First. Which means maybe that is Raffles the savior of the chapter title? Anyway, Raffles moves to the center of the wheel, La Tome. And we see these kind of like concentric circles radiate out of the moon. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to lean into. We see Ogun, who watches all this happen. What the hell is going on with the sky? Are those stars? What's happening to our world? And Pan comments, human thought is erupting. And then we hear like the surviving evacuees. It's Raffles I. He's returned to save us from all of this. Oh boy, they don't know what's going on, do they? And Raffles says, La Tome. And just then, a huge explosion destroys, I think that's Company 4's matchbox. And maybe all of the civilians? Maybe? I'm not sure how close they were to the matchbox. And as the dust clears, Pond just looks on each of the spokes of the wheel shines. And we see a whole bunch of explosions all across the mountainside. And we see, the bruised, beaten, battered civilians screaming, clinging to life. One asks, Why, Raffles-sama? And another one, through his tears, we've angered him. We're such fools. This is judgment, divine judgment. Forgive us, Raffles-sama! So yeah, that's definitely moving the collective unconscious towards death, I'd say. And like the camera or the reporter like falls onto the ground, clinging his helmet. No, mommy. And the cameraman, grabs him. Hey, are you all right? Stand up. Come on, it's just a scratch. Get up. I'm hurt worse than you. No. Oh, he's already been infernalized. No. And the cameraman runs away. Shit. And the cameraman looks back at the reporter, turning into an infernal at a critical time like this. Unbelievable. You were always useless. That's not a good... I mean, maybe it's part of the collective unconscious manipulating that the White Clouds are doing here. Whatever. I don't need a half-assed reporter to get a scoop. All I need is my camera. And just then, there's another flash of light zooming across the sky. What is that? A bird? A plane? It stopped the Cataclysm Man! I was about to make a Superman joke, but I see Shinra just did it for me. Also, when's the last time we saw a man joke out of a superhero name joke out of Shinra? Though Stop the Cataclysm Man is one of his best. And the cameraman just looks up, a superhero? And so Shinra then, like I suggested last week, Shinra, the savior would reference Shinra's arrival onto the scene. And Shinra is like floating above the wheel. Could that be Patriarch of the Empire, the father, Raffles I? And Raffles looks up at Shinra. Okay. And then we see the Cataclysm, all of the Cataclysm Force, not just Fairy. We can't see the rest of their faces, though. We of the Cataclysm Force shall stamp out all your hopes. Abandon your hopeful beliefs. Embrace your belief in despair. Choose, which savior will ye believe in? And we see Kurono, just like sitting on top of one of the spokes of the wheel, humming. I have a bad feeling about this. Because Kurono was just talking about a career change, and the whole, believe in despair seems to be right up Kurono's alley. So something tells me he's going to change sides. But just then, Shinra and Raffles continue to glare at each other as the chapter ends. Savior faces savior, hero faces prophet. At the sight of the eighth pillar, the battle to decide the true savior begins. To be continued in chapter 236, another reunion. We also have a color version of the panel of Raffles entering the center of the wheel. So yeah, a lot going on here. Specifically, the big thing I want to point out is the shift from the collective unconscious as death to the collective unconscious as despair. And I get how that's connected. You know, if your entire mindset is despair, it's very easy to be like, we're just gonna die, or death is better than despair, which might be the grand goal of Fairy here, of the White Clouds in general, but specifically Fairy. But yeah, I don't know. That's just something that seems kind of important going forward. Is that this is I think this is the first time we have explicitly seen the White Cloud's goal as being one of like emotional manipulation. You know, there's a little bit of, you know, they're seeding information out. You know, once they can control the Empire, people start hearing about the Cataclysm and the Pillars and the world ending and all that stuff. But in like the way of rumors, it was not too much of a panic. But this is like straight up, you know, abandon your hopeful beliefs, embrace your belief in despair, is what Fairy says here. And but then yeah, the big thing this chapter is, of course, Raffles' arrival and Shinra'S return. And I've already had a few thoughts about Raffles, specifically that he is, you know, a doppelganger, of course. Though when we had Hibachi's doppelganger was defined by his strength. You know, that's what people thought of him as. We don't really know enough about Raffles to know how he's thought of. Though, admittedly, we didn't really know a lot about Hibachi either. But we kind of had just enough about Hibachi to get, like, the image of him is that he's super strong. And so, the doppelganger Hibachi is super strong. Raffles, though, is, like, he's beloved, he's a savior, he's a religious leader. Very little is known about his strength. Though I guess we're going to find out as he's about to fight Shinra. And then, yeah, that's the other big thing, is, of course, Shinra'S arrival, with one of the best Shinra superhero gags of the series. I wish that panel was structured just a little bit better, like he uses as a thumbnail, but it's just too wide for that to really work. Because the "It Stopped the Cataclysm Man" would have been the thumbnail if it were just positioned slightly differently. But yeah, now he is here. And I wanna take one more moment to think about this line: "Which savior will ye believe in?" Because the everyday people don't know about Shinra. Like, they've never, you know, a few people have, like, there's a few people that he's helped over the years that know Shinra. But for the most part, it's just kind of him. That was a poor way of phrasing it. Hold on, let me think. He's just kind of some guy who showed up to fight Raffles. And sure, Raffles has immediately started killing people. But people seem to think that they deserve it. Like, the one guy who says, "We've angered him, we're such fools, this is divine judgment, forgive us," they've instantly assumed that Raffles is right and they are wrong. Which does seem to imply that as Fairy has framed this as Shinra's hope versus Raffles' despair, it could be that the faith people already have in Raffles will also lead to them sliding into the despair just like Fairy wants. That's kind of my prediction as to how this is going to go. But yeah, then we have that ominous scene of Kurono, who I am very much predicting will change sides now. And then Shinra and Raffles face off. And that's kind of where we leave off, with Shinra versus Raffles, which is not something I was ever really predicting. It's kind of just thrown out there. Here's hoping it does not fall into the same trap that Benny versus Hibachi did, of just being too, you know, airborne and kind of weightless. Because, you know, the best fights in this series are very tactile, very, very physical, very, you know, using the environment to their advantage. And Shinra and Raffles floating in the air does not accomplish that. So here's hoping is a great fight. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!